Welcome to Empower Hour. Let's get growing. Good morning. So yes, I have a fake background because I opted for the air conditioning and the more stable internet in my bedroom. But this view inspires me. This view helps me tap into the energy that I need in order to build my life of my dreams and become the woman of my dreams in that process. So I'm cheating and I have it there because I like looking at it. And being here does make that easier for me. And, we all have to figure out, good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Jose. I'll put these up. In order to build that life, we want to, have every reminder around us at all times. And that's what we're going to talk today about, is the difference between time management, energy management, but none of it matters at all. First of all, good morning, Jennifer Marr, Soulful Prosperity Coach. And I will start this out by saying that my superpower is getting shit done. And quite frankly, I am a recovering superwoman. And I spent a long time truly believing and thinking that doing everything for everyone was productive. But at the end of the day, the things that were most important to me were not happening. I still had a void. I still didn't feel whole. And then I started to learn about energy management. So I really mastered time management for a long time, right? All the time blocking, all the things, and being productive. But few things that I did wrong. Number one, I didn't manage my energy properly. And number two, I never really took the time to make sure that the goals that I was working towards were the goals that actually mattered to me, right? There's a Harvard study, something about ladders, right? So you can be excellent at climbing ladders. You become, near master at climbing ladders, but then you get to the top of that ladder and realize that's not where you wanted to go. And I did that. So you want to make sure you take that time and that space to figure out your number one thing. What is that goal? That one thing that when it happens, it changes everything. It impacts your quality of life. It impacts your health, your prosperity, your relationships, everything that you consider heaven on earth happens if you would achieve that goal. And identifying these goals that truly reflect your potential. That's where we start to basically hedge our bets that we're going to succeed, is when we choose a goal that forces us to show up at our best. Showing up at anything less than your best is not an option. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to show up as who you need to be at the end of that goal. It means every single day you are working towards and making decisions that align yourself with that ultimate outcome. We did a vision casting class. That class, if you registered for this class, and you can register at the end if you didn't, if you're just finding us online right now live, that vision casting class really helped to create that vision, that blueprint of what is most important to you, to me, not what society says I should be or where I should be at this point, but those things that truly light me up and push me towards being the person of my dreams, living the life of my dreams that I am designing through my consciousness, through my efforts, through my choices, through my actions. So identifying that goal, and there's an expression, first things first, second things, not at all. You have to get truly committed to your wildly important goal. You can call it a wig. You need to get committed to eliminating all other distractions. If you cannot identify your goal and own it with your soul, and you cannot commit to your goal, you can try to time manage and you can try to energy manage all you want, and you're just going to be spinning your wheels. There's a expression, be the pig. And that means the pig is the only one that's all in at breakfast, right? The pig is all in. The chicken, it had to lay an egg. The pig is all in. The pig is fully committed. That's such a terrible analogy for someone who doesn't even kill big giant spiders that I find in my house. So being completely committed, showing up to the version of yourself and aligning your actions to the version of yourself that you aspire to be, thinking like a champion, training for greatness. In this space is where all the beauty and all the miracles lie. That's that integrity gap. So where you're at now and where you want to be on whatever goals, right? In the space in between there, and the steps is as soon as you start walking towards your true potential, your full potential, that's where the joy, the freedom, the hope, the excitement, all of those things live. So it's not that you have to get here, and maybe you'll never get there. Maybe you'll have to spend the rest of your life working towards it, but it's not and it's just a cliche, right? It's not the destination, it's the journey, but it's true. It's who you become in the process. So if you're not picking goals that are a huge stretch outside of who you are today, you're more than likely, you may hit them, but you're not going to get into that flow, into the stride. And you're not going to create the life of your dreams, because that's where you take your power, right? That's where you own it. You own your outcomes. You own your results. You are 100% responsible for your emotions and your outcomes. So my goals right now, my wig, my wildly important goal is to get to to help I'm not limiting myself, over 1 million people and businesses tap into the highest version of themselves, design and build lives and careers worth living, the ones that they desire, by the next leap year. And that's a goal that gets me up at 5:30 in the morning, has me coming in front of all these people, when I'm sometimes afraid of doing this, and sometimes afraid I'm going to sound stupid, or sometimes I'm afraid I'm not smart enough. But it's a big enough goal that I don't care. I don't care if I come on here and I'm not perfect, because I am so in touch. I know that I'm going to have times where I'm not the most amazing. And then there's going to be times, but my consistency to show up is so aligned with who I want to be And that gives me the hope, the faith, the confidence, and the courage to know that, failure is a part of my journey. And if I'm not failing, I'm not moving forwards. I'm not closing that integrity gap. I'm not getting closer to my goals. So the first thing, I spent so much time in time management. I spent over 10 years coaching, training realtors, all to the KPLs. What is that? Key productivity, whatever. Tracking those numbers, those numbers that are directly related to a business model, and teaching them how to time block, how to create a business plan, how to break that business plan down into bite-sized pieces. But if you are not so crystal clear and attached, emotionally attached to your wildly important goal, then obviously you're not going to get where you want to go. But the other side of this is energy management. And this blew the lid off of me. And I have been meditating for a really long time, about 20 years. Is it that long? Yeah, maybe a little less. And I really thought I had this energy management down because I had this practice of meditation. And then I hired a coach, John Cheplack, and he forced me, that's a strong word, but if you know John Cheplack, you get it. He basically forced me to look at my fundamentals as a whole, not just, I give my brain a break once a day, but all the fundamentals, right? Eating, moving, sleeping, focusing your mind, and breathing. If you know anything about Maslow's hierarchy of needs or anything about the chakras, you will understand that the foundation is so, so, so important in order to be able to ascend to higher levels, become a better version of yourself, grow your business. A business is a soul. It needs its basic foundations as well. It needs its basic needs met. So these are your basic needs. These are the basic needs to live a quality life, to live in the present moment, to live with joy, to live with connectivity. And you guys, this is something I did not live with most of my life. And now I'm experiencing it for, 2 years in a row after the most tumultuous, even though I've been through some shit, but I had a huge upheaval, so still having awakenings. But energy management is something, I've been working towards for the last 20 years. And my life consistently did get better. I just was never all in. I was never fully committed. I allowed it all of life distractions to get in that way. And I apologize. I did not move the slide. Jose, I don't think oh, here we go. So these are the basic topics that we're going to cover today. And I've already gotten into a little bit of it. I don't know, did we put all these on the screen already? But I love these. Good morning, everybody on Instagram. So good to see you. And okay, I'll get back to these. I don't want to get too distracted. Yes, KPLs. So back to, I get very excited about this. You know what, the cool thing about this is when I was preparing for this and I sent a personal message to those who registered, I realized how much I've been doing wrong, but I also realized how much I've been doing right. And that's the beautiful thing about being learning based, being willing to just continue to learn and not be in a place of judgment of, all the things you did wrong, but a celebration of what you've done right. And then knowing the awareness of where you can improve and where you can tweak is where the excitement and the hope, number one, because you know you're going to show up and do it because you're committed. You're going to show up and make those improvements and make those changes and implement the things that are important to you. So focusing on these fundamentals. Energy management is so crucial. It is one of the most important things in building the life and the career of your dreams. So take some time here to really think this through and really analyze, where are you at? And maybe just pick one thing for each fundamental, right? We have eating, moving, sleeping, focusing your mind, and breathing. So let's take eating. Is there one thing that you can do to improve your eating habits? One thing. My one thing for the last few months has simply been vegetable oil. I don't have time to be all vegetarian. I don't have time to be this. But I can make sure that I read the ingredients and I am aware of what's going into my body. And also eating out a lot less, opting for, and that's why I love being here in the Dominican Republic. I go shop at like this local little store and I get the most basic foods, and it really trains me to not be so spoiled to have anything I ever want at the touch of my hands in my fridge, because man, I can eat some chips. So they sell chips. Why I have the strength and the mindset when I'm here to not buy the chips, I don't know. But it's okay, because I consider it like training camp when I come here. When I come to the Dominican Republic, it's really a place for me. Like the Dominican Republic is like my yoga mat, right? It's like my meditation cushion. I use this place to train me. And I'm really grateful and blessed that I can do that. But listen, I didn't always do that. I used to use it to get as drunk as I could and dance as much as I can. And that was fun too. No regrets. But that's the point too, right? Not living in the regrets of, so I've been not eating great. And like you just ruminate on where you're making mistakes. That is draining your energy. Very important factor in energy management is to celebrate, and then don't ruminate on your failures. Ruminate on what tomorrow looks like. Right? I didn't do so good today. What does tomorrow look like? Oh, sorry. I got completely parched. So, and ruminate on that, right? That's visualization. Basically, that's going to help your body to have the memory of what a perfect day looks like. So you're less relying on your willpower, because you've got everybody is aligned with you, instead of you have a little bit of defense against the body that starts talking to the mind like, no, I really need that sugar, or I really need that wine, or I really need whatever it is that you're looking to cut out. So by focusing and committing to the best habits possible on each of these fundamentals, you're growing. Right? You're growing your willpower. You're deepening your commitment. You're sharpening your focus because you're paying attention. So just pick one thing. Like if I just started doing this with my nutritional habits, my eating habits, and then pick one thing you should stop doing. What is the one thing you should stop doing? So for me, it really boiled down to vegetable oil for both. I have so much going on. I really not in a space right now. I know where I'm at. I'm managing my energy. And I know that if I was like on some crazy strict diet that I had to pay attention, count calories and do all of this stuff, we'll get to the calories because I do think it's super important, but you also need to know where you're at and what's your focus. My wildly important goal is not to lose weight right now. My wildly important goal is to get the 1 million people, over 1 million people, tapped into their highest version of themselves and living and designing the business and career, business and lives of their dreams, and becoming the person of their dreams in that, in the process. But I know my wildly important goal, weight's not going to be an issue when I get to the end of that. I'm feeling pretty good. I've worked really hard on myself physically. And right now I'm just in a place of maintaining, not looking to grow massively there, but I'm crystal clear. You can't master all of these things. You pick the ones that are going to work the most towards getting you, that are going to align themselves with your wildly important goal. So for me, cutting out vegetable oil was what made the most sense. And they put that shit in everything. They hide it in everything. So number one, just by doing that, I've eliminated most processed foods, which is where energy goes right down the drain. You don't need to be a nutritionist to know that. And I get to enjoy, like, you know, I was made homemade popcorn, one of my favorite things, but oh my God, I'd put like a half a stick of butter because I love it. But now I've learned and trained myself to love it cooked in coconut oil. Sorry, ladies at home, it's going to be coconut oil popcorn from now on. So focus on it, but it's not my obsession, right? So made my improvements in eating, moving. This is a really important one because so many people are either they don't move at all, or they think I go to the gym for an hour, 4 to 5 days a week, but then I'm sedentary the rest of the time. Our body needs to be moved throughout the day. So for me, 10,000 steps a day was a really good goal. And although there's some days where I'm only at 8,500, there's a lot of days where I'm at 14,000. So I average around 10,000. And, you know, when I'm here, I do closer to 20. That worked really well for me. Plus, I have a deep commitment to a Kundalini yoga practice that I practice 20 minutes a day. There are days where I do 45 minutes to an hour or more, but I just need 20 minutes a day. And I did the Kundalini yoga also because it was a hack for me. It's breathing, it's moving, it's mantras, and it's meditation all in one. Boom. I knocked off a few of these fundamentals, right? I got moving, focusing my mind, and breathing all in Kundalini yoga. So if you're curious about Kundalini yoga, reach out, Google. It changed my life for me. So eating, moving, sleeping, another thing. I used to average about 4.5 hours sleep because I'm the queen of getting shit done, recovering superwoman, right? I was functional, but again, I was functional on climbing ladders that were not going to where I wanted to be. I never even had the time because I was never rested enough, and I never recovered enough, and I never had enough stillness to be able to really focus on what mattered and what I wanted to achieve. So although I was really high functioning on very little sleep, and my sleep was alcohol fueled and cell phone up until the very last minute, would sleep with the cell phone like on my pillow. Hello. That was my sleep. So I didn't sleep very well, and I didn't sleep very much. And then I bought an Oura ring. I think I've had the Oura ring for 4 years now. And I average, you know, listen, this week, full moon weeks, I only sleep about 5 hours. And I've come to discover that, and always wondered why once in a while I'd have struggle sleeping. It turns out it's really during the full moon. But I average on a regular basis, on 3 weeks, I average about 7.5 hours. And then I usually average around 6. So, but that's huge. That is a huge difference. My ultimate goal is to never get less than 7. But, you know, I'm working on big things, and sometimes I have to do it on less sleep. But I have now stored up energy. I can tap into my reserves because I have been so committed to focusing on my fundamentals. You guys, I'm so committed to focusing on it. You go back to Maslow hierarchy of needs, definitely check that out. And then you go back to the chakras. And I did, at the beginning of the year and the end of last year, I did a 40-day Kriya, which is 40 days of the same exact yoga routine, the Kundalini yoga routine that was focused on my root chakra. I knew that it's time for me. This is my time. And I need to have the strongest foundation. I need to be able to remove limiting beliefs and doubts and the voices and the noise and all that shit. Need to get it out of my way. And the best way for me to do that is to really focus on my foundation. And so fundamentals, eating, moving, sleeping, focusing your mind and breathing, and really focus on your basic needs. How do I make myself feel safe, loved, and supported? If you don't feel safe, loved, and supported, you're going to struggle with really achieving this beautiful life that you desire. And the biggest thing is that I learned at the age of 51, I'm now 53, because I was heartbroken. I mean, I had my heart ripped out of my chest by a few people a couple of years ago. And then all of a sudden I realized I am the only one who can make myself feel safe, loved, and supported. And it's not from a me energy. It's from tapping in, going within, having real deep connection with your seat of consciousness, knowing intuitively what is right and what is wrong, really getting into a place where you don't even need to make decisions. You just choose, and the choices are crystal clear. So sleeping, focusing your mind, you can do that in many ways. Meditation is one of them. Another way to do that is to really start, and we're going to get deeper into it, but really start creating deep blocks of work time. So 50 to 90 minutes that you are completely focused. Your phone is in another room. Your Wi-Fi is off if you don't need it for whatever you're doing, or limit your, turn off all notifications on your computer. I love you, my Mac, but I still get notifications. I haven't figured that one out. But turning off, but I've learned I can tune them out. I no longer feel, let's talk about the zero inbox syndrome. How many of you take deep pride in having zero in your inbox? I know. A lot of you. So what I'm telling you to is, half the time, the problem is when you're checking your email constantly, and you're checking your email the first thing in the morning and then constantly throughout the day, you're starting, stopping. That is not efficient. That burns and drains your energy. So I challenge you to go to the inbox, zero inbox. Do not go to those emails. Do not go to the scroll social media until you have taken care of the most important thing for that day, the most important thing that is going to push you towards your wildly important goal. Okay, so focusing your mind and breathing. Focusing your mind can also be done through jogging. Jog without headphones, just silence, just observing my feet is touching the ground. I smell the trees. I see this, I see that. Jogging, kayaking. There's lots of ways to focus your mind. Visualization, so on. And breathing. Doing intentional breath work is life-changing. Nothing resets your parasympathetic nervous system, which is where the anxiety, the doubt, and the fear, and all of that, that's where it gets its power from. And we can reset that, and we can put our intentions and reset our nervous system in the direction that we want to be focused and where we want to go today through breath work. So powerful. And then we want to get in sync with the rhythms. What are the rhythms of your life, right? What is the rhythm of a day where you feel the best? What time do you wake up? What time do you go to sleep? What do you do when you wake up? What do you do before you go to sleep? What do you do in between? How often are you moving your body? Are you creating deep chunks of work time and then creating deep chunks of recovery, right? Gary Keller said it's full throttle or off. Most people are never actually on or off. They're in the middle. And in the middle is the most draining. So you're never fully in. So you're not even yielding the kind of results that you could if you were fully committed and completely focused without a million distractions on what you want to accomplish. Most of you, so be honest and do an analysis on yourself, are never there. You're never truly on. And then if you do get yourself to a place where you are truly on, you need to manage that energy by taking time where you are truly off, disconnected, not with a phone, scrolling, truly present for the people, with the people that you love, taking time for that stillness. I always say gratitude is the ultimate space of receivership. Well, stillness is the ultimate space for ascension. You want to ascend beyond where you are now, create some stillness in your life. And this becomes your rhythm, finding your flow, optimizing the times for when you should be doing intense work and when you should be doing deep recovery. So your basic needs are met. And you have time to focus on what's important, which are these basic needs. Because if these basic needs aren't met, you are not running on your full capacity of energy. And then you need to protect your energy. You get into this space, you need to learn and master the art of saying no, sticking to your boundaries. First things first, second, not at all. This is a big weakness of mine that I am committed to in my personal life, not my personal life, in my life. There's no personal and professional life for me. It's my life. So I've already gone over what my key fundamentals are. They all are. And I make sure that I am spending deep time daily, looking at them, tracking them, and holding myself accountable to them. So I want to talk about time management now, right? We just spoke a lot about energy management, and I named this time management versus energy management. And really it's the energy you need to build the life of your dreams and the career of your dreams. That's what this should be called, because they both matter. And so if you're focused too much on the energy side, you're not going to get the results that you want. If you're focused too much on the time management side, you're going to end up, achieving at high levels, but not necessarily for the life that you want to design and the career that you want to build, and so on and so forth. So, Caitlin, if you're on here, you made me cry this morning. I just want you to know that. That was such a beautiful message. Thank you so much. And I just saw something come in from my daughter. So tracking, first you need to prioritize what's essential, right? You need to eliminate the tasks that aren't wildly aligned with your goal. So you need to first, before you start, we all start like busting out our calendar, get all excited, come from a class, come from a coach, all the things that you want to do, and then you start plugging it into your calendar, but you really don't have a good idea. And then what I hear the most from my clients, what I hear the most from even people I love, I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time. So the first thing, to say you just don't have the time for the things that are the most important to you, I have no words for that, right? You do have the time. What the first thing you need to do is start tracking what you are spending your time on. There's no judgment. You can have time for those, whatever, downtime, nothing time. But you want to make sure that the things that are most important to you are prioritized, and that you create the space and the time needed to move forward in those goals. So spend a day, a week, a month, whatever it takes. I have to go back to basics on this myself. I spoke to my team this morning. We're going to be time tracking ourselves next week so we can figure out exactly where we're spending our time. And they're not going to have to report it to me. They're going to do it themselves. And I'm going to be doing this myself. Where am I spending my time? Little, maybe like clipboard, checklist, whatever, and assessing where I'm spending that time. Did I scroll for 2 hours, binge watch for 2 hours, whatever. So whatever it is for you. And then once you understand, you can then start consolidating the most important things into large, uninterrupted blocks of focused work. The best is like 50 to 90 minutes. And then you take an energy break, move your body, and then come back and focus again. So you got to do however you can do that for you. But that's how I plan on going back and really, this is something that I still build the plane while flying all the time. And I got to get out of that space. I can't be the best coach that I can be and really help those over 1 million people by next leap year if I'm all over the place. So I will be taking, I take a whole day off to spend with my granddaughter, and then I take Sundays, but then Sundays ends up being family someday. So I'm going to change my whole schedule, my whole work week. So I have deep, focused, concentrated blocks of time that I honor. I think I have them in my calendar, and I've filled it with other stuff. No, I'm committed. I'm the pig. So prioritizing and really putting first things first. And we're going to get more into time management. I want to talk about focused execution, right? Training your ability to focus intensely without distractions. We kind of talked about that. The phone needs to go. The phone needs to go. Ding, 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 ding. I haven't had notifications on my phone in years, and it's changed my life. But if that phone is even on my desk, when you're tracking your time management, start tracking how many times you just touch that phone, turn it over, turn it on, check it, look at it. Like crazy. It controls us. Phone in the other room. When you want to spend quality time with your family, put the phone away. Just having that phone is a barrier between you and your loved ones. That's the only way to have deep connections. It's the only way to have deep focus and deep concentration is to put that phone away. Okay? And creating checklists. So a good part of time management, a good part of focused execution is checklists. I love a 1-3-5 plan. If you've coached with me, we've probably done one. So 1-3-5 plan is the one most important goal for you. And the 3 major things that you need to accomplish in order to accomplish that goal, and then the 5 mini actions that need to take place with those 3 things to get to the one thing. Did you know that surgeons follow a checklist? I know sometimes my team probably thinks I think they're being like babies or not good enough when I'm like, you need to follow the checklist. You need to create the checklist. You need to systematize and document all your processes and follow a checklist. And the reasons why surgeons follow a checklist, because the studies show that surgeons that follow a checklist have much less death or mishaps or things going wrong in surgery. But I can't think of the word, mortality rate for the surgeons who follow a checklist is like 30% lower than the surgeons who don't follow a checklist. I want to be a surgeon. I don't want to be killing off my hopes, my deepest desires and my dreams and my wishes. No, thank you. So checklist, 1-3-5 plan, fantastic. I can, Alta and Jose, if you can help me remember to send out. Oh, I don't think I have a blank one. Just reach out to me and I'll help you through that. Turning off notifications and committing to deep, uninterrupted work periods are what going to maximize your productivity. As a matter of fact, I can't remember what book, but there was a whole bunch of studies that went into showing anybody who is world class at what they do have an average of a 4.5 hour workday where they are completely focused in on what's most important. And they do it in 90-minute blocks with energy breaks in between. Who wants a 4.5 hour workday? But not only that, but they achieved more by doing that way than trying to do the 40-hour week with all the distractions, with all the stuff being all, focusing, multitasking on a million things. I was the queen of multitask. I'm a recovering multitasker too. I love coming here as well because I can really, really focus. And then it's a practice for when I get home. Okay, so this has made a huge, huge difference for me. I'm about to finish another book. I'm able to put out, I don't know if you think my content is quality, it doesn't matter. I know I'm putting out content that comes from my heart most of the time. And I know that everything that I do, I am prepared for. I am respecting and giving it the time, energy, and focus that it deserves. So I know on my mission of helping over 1 million people, they're going to get the best of me. I don't think I can accomplish that if I did not truly feel that way. So I have routines and systems that I follow, down to lighting candles, burning incense, big pot of tea, different things that help me to get into my zone. And having these systems and rituals, and then doing the 1-3-5 plan, and then breaking those things down to how much time they will actually take, creating lists, plugging it into your calendar with exactly the amount of time you think it's supposed to take. And maybe you need to break it up into 4 entries, but it actually gets into your calendar, is going to save you on your willpower. Instead of like, oh, these are, making just a list like in your book of the things you want to do today, then you have to spend your entire day using your willpower, which we know is fragile. Why test it? Why put more things on, right? It's bad enough to have the willpower to not eat the sugar or not do this, whatever. Never mind to be wasting that willpower to making decisions on the fly of what's important now. So really having that clear, broken down into the time slots and onto your schedule. And then you also need to measure these results. And most of us spend the time measuring those KPL, those key productivity, whatever, right? Measuring the results of the business or the, whatever plan, but you're not measuring the results of your lead measures, right? Those are the lag measures of the results, right? Those are the results that come from the things that are on the lead measures. And so the lead measures are your fundamentals for your energy management. But for your actual goal, your lead measures, if you do a 1-3-5 plan, are all those other things that need to happen in order for the one thing to happen. So you need to be measuring on a daily, weekly, monthly basis those lead measures that are going to then guarantee you the lag measure results. So having goal setting with precision, please take the vision casting class. It's really, really special and spectacular. You need to set specific, actionable, and measurable goals to make your desired outcomes inevitable. You want to make sure that they are stretch goals. So you are forced into creating the habits, systems, rituals, routines to become the best version of yourself. And then you want to regularly review and adjust the strategies to make sure, and also tracking your time. Make this a habit until you are spending your days as efficiently as possible. What are the other results of spending your days as efficiently as possible? Well, then being present. People come to me all the time and say, family first, my family, right? I say, let me see your calendar. And I look at their calendar and I say, I don't see your family in your calendar. Get into the habit of putting things that matter to you into your calendar. And when it's in your calendar, it means 0 distractions. It means you are committed. You are all in to whatever it is that you put there. And that includes your family. And watch how your world will change. Mine has. You need to identify, and you get to identify your core values. See how I just changed that wording? Like, there's none of this is what you need to do. This is what you get to do to design the life of your dreams. These are the things you get to do in order to ensure the outcome, your desired outcome, and then be open to even limitless potential for those outcomes. You want to, and you get to identify your core values. We want to, and we get to build up our emotional resilience. This is going to happen by managing our energy, giving ourselves the time for silence, the time for stillness. Also, when you are in integrity and you are aligned with your core values, you're less stressed, you're less anxiety. And just by taking these actions and moving towards your goals, you're going to be vibrating at a higher frequency, and it's going to give you emotional resilience. You want to figure out what your model for success is, and you get to stick to it. You also get to build emotional stamina, and you become anti-fragile in the process. There's another course that we did, another session, becoming anti-fragile. Definitely watch that. So you can thrive under pressure. We came into this world under pressure, stress, and friction. And then most of us spend the rest of our life avoiding that. When that is obvious, the rebirth, where the new version of you and the new version of you and the new version you can only be born under tension, stress, and friction. So if you're not creating goals that are going to force that growth, you're going to be living in your comfort zone. You're going to be living in mediocrity. You're not going to have the joy, the freedom, the liberation, and the knowing. It's so powerful. And then, you guys, when we get really good at all this, then we have to be sure to not let the whirlwind of life and all the things that are our kryptonite, like your cell phone is probably everybody's biggest kryptonite. In this life, in this journey, our hero's journey, we are not battling dragons. That's not our obstacles. They're typically not dragons. They're usually mosquitoes and paper cuts. So you need to do your best to avoid those distractions and that kryptonite. I promise you, you will get the most out of really focusing on your elimination of that phone and you know, less and less, you guys, right? Not ruminating on the failures either. What does perfect day look like? What is it when my time management is in perfect alignment with my goals? What is it when my energy management is in line with my goals? And if there's anything I can do, I'm here. Anybody have any questions? That was a lot. I channeled. It came right into me. I love that. How do we suggest we handle tasks that are really draining but unavoidable? Well, you do them after you do the things that you need your energy for, right? So this is why really protecting that calendar and being crystal clear in that calendar is so important. You got to eat the big frogs first. You ever heard that expression? I love that expression. And then I did this little experiment one time where I had 3 mason jars. I had a pile of pebbles, rocks, and then big rocks. And if you try to fill and sand, so you try to put the sand in, then the smaller rocks, and there's no room for the big rocks. And then you do it in all the reverse order. The only one that truly fits it all is when you put the big rocks in first, and then the reverse order. The smallest goes in last. and then it fills in the rest. How do you decide? There was something else on that question. No, I'll think of it. How do you decide what to do first in your day? Be crystal clear on your goals. Be crystal clear on what's wildly important to you. Be crystal clear on it and prioritize it, and get focused on that. Get creative, get productive before distracted. So don't start reading emails and messages and all of that stuff. Thank you, Liv. Did we put all these comments up? I don't know if they made it up. I often find myself wondering where the time goes. Any tip? Oh my God, this is the biggest one. So yeah, I talked about it. Start tracking your time. If you literally are saying, and some of you are on here and I love you, and some of you pay me a lot of money, and you're telling me I don't have time. I just don't have the time for that. I just don't have, these are the things that are most important to you. So maybe you don't. I don't want to go there. Like maybe you don't. But maybe you should really understand and accept and take ownership of where you're spending your time. Is this what I love the mantra, is what I'm doing right now pushing me towards my life of my dreams and the woman of my dreams, or is it pushing me away? And if it's pushing me away and I decide I'm going to do this right now anyway, at least I'm conscious of it, because most of us are letting our life of our dreams slip away and we're not even aware of it. It's just slipping away after one distraction after the other. All right, I have. What practices can you adopt to build emotional resilience and maintain a positive attitude even under stress? Identify, right? First, really figure out what, those days where you're just having a great day. You feel great. Everything's going well. What are the things, what are your fundamentals that you need to focus on? Getting those basics covered. You're eating, moving, sleeping, breathing, and focusing your mind. Right? So adopt those practices that work for you. Master maybe 3 of those fundamentals, and it's going to change your world. And maintain a positive attitude. The positive attitude is going to come from the results, right? So you're creating little mini goals, these checklists, and you're accomplishing them. You're going to get the dopamine gift when you accomplish them, and then you're going to feel good. It's going to give you more energy, and it just goes on. Everything that we talked about today is these fundamentals are your core, most important things you need to have life force energy. So life is always going to change, and you need to not be rigid, right? So you want to have the plan, and then life is going to throw you a curveball, and then you use that as like, let's go, bring it on, I can do this. And then you need to make sure that you create the space to acknowledge the change. How is it going to impact me? And if it's a work thing, if it's work, then what are the system strategies and whatever I need to build around this? Make sure that I'm crystal clear on the change, and then build your plan moving forward. But first of all, not reacting, right? Trusting that everything is always happening for you, not to you. This change, if the change is annoying you and it is triggering something in you, you're not believing that everything is happening for you. That's sort of a victim mentality, and you don't want to be there. Change, adversity, challenges, those are the things that are going to help you become the best version of yourself. And to hedge those bets for that wildly important goal happening. How can you minimize or eliminate interruptions during your most productivity hours? You need to turn the phone off. Put it in the other room. Don't even have it laying down next to you. That's the number one thing that is distracting everybody right now. And there's lots of things by, just respecting your own schedule, creating the schedule, and, measuring and holding yourself accountable. All right, I got time for one more question. Oh, I love you too, Liv. Oh, so many people. Thank you. Good to see you guys. I love you, Liv. Okay. Morning. You guys can put these in live in the future. I put the comments in as they come in. Thank you, Steph. I don't know what you understand, but it's good to see you. Okay, so I now am just, listen, this was a lot. If there's anything that I can do to help you manage your time and your energy, just reach out. If you registered for this class, you're going to get access to all the replays for Empower Hour. And so I'll give you the slide at the end so you can still register. And then you get access to all the ones that are done in the past as well, plus the resources and attachments. I have launched my Beyond Limits. I have a waiting list, and this is the one program for business growth. I have 2 different programs that you can join. There's one if you want, me privately with yourself or with your team, or I'm coming directly in. We're meeting regularly and not in person, either in person or remote. And then I also have a group program, so you can come in with yourself and your entire team, but you're with other business owners. And it also has some one-on-one time with me, just not as much. The other one is where I'm basically entrenched in your business for 6 months. So there's 2 programs. And if you have been looking to level up, bring on that new project, or just become more profitable, this program is traction coaching, operations, team building, messaging, messaging to your consumers, lead management, project management, accountability, goal setting, and more. So I truly hope to see many of you there. And here you go. This is the wrong thing. Alta, please put up, this is the wrong thing. Please put up the registration link for Empower Hour. There you go. It's right down here. Register there, and you'll get what's on this slide. So let's change that slide for next week, Alta. So if you registered for today, you get access to all the free replays to all the replays and whatever. If you've just been streaming it live, you do not have that access. We've done some great stuff. I love you guys. I wish you all the most amazing day, weekend. Just remember, our mission is soulful prosperity. We want to build lives and careers that nourish our souls. Have a great day. Love you all.